Welcome to Purpose, Passion, Life, your podcast to living life in purpose, on purpose, with passion. I'm your host, Olduğtadt. If you are a coach or an entrepreneur who is out to make a positive impact in this world and empower other people, make sure you are tuning in, you subscribe to this podcast. This is for you. Let's get started. What's up, everybody? Olduğtadt here. Comment below if you are hopping on live. Hashtag replay if you are replay. I'd love to hear where you're coming from. Today is so funny. Today, actually, so it's been on my calendar all week to talk about self-sabotage and helping people break through the barriers of things that happen. What's up, Jules? With self-sabotage, right? It's something that we all go through. It's something myself personally, have experienced on major levels of my life. Again, I'm all about authenticity. I'm all about showing up in a way that's vulnerable and authentic for people to be able to really take and use. Hey, Ryan, what's going on? What's up, Jill? Thanks for hopping on. I hope I said your name right, Gil, for hopping on. What's up, Cody? What's up, Bonnie? So we're all talking about self-sabotage today. Like, why do we do this to ourselves, right? And every single person, like, if you say that you don't have this problem, I'm sorry, I don't believe you. I've seen millionaires. I don't know any billionaires. I have they're close, but they're not there yet, right? Because I have the sabotage thing going on. Everybody has this level of sabotage, I think. And we're going to talk about that today. I'm going to give you guys some tools to be able to really break through it and knock it off. And first, like, level authenticity with me. Has any of you guys, obviously you popped on, so you experienced this at some way or another. Are you willing to be authentic with me and vulnerable with me so we can have some breakthroughs and stop doing this to ourselves, right? So is anyone with me? Give me some hearts. I think the delay is a little bit here. What's up, Bonnie? What's up, Joe? Hey, Terry. I do. Awesome. Yes, for sure. Awesome. So why do we do this to ourselves, right? We do it to ourselves. Ultimately, there's all sorts of stuff, right, that we go through. Most of it, we have created all of these stories from a little itty cutesy you started creating all of these stories about your experiences of life that have carried on through years and years and years and years. And a lot of, like, we've taken on this suit, if you will. We've put on this suit and walking into the story of our experiences that have happened to us as kids. Holy shit, right? I'm about to get deep. But this is the truth, and you guys, like, this is what happens. So as we go through life, what happens is, as things start getting, like, we have a capacity to have things go super duper well. Like, they can go so good for so long. And then what happens, right? And then we say, like, oh, it's the roller coaster of life. Okay, well, ultimately, it's because we don't have that capacity. We have, like, a limited capacity of being able to feel good. Have you guys ever thought about it that way? As I've been having this shift, so let me share my story of sabotage with you guys, just so you guys get, like, this is something that I've been intentional about working through. Like, I know that it's a problem that I've had, and I'm willing to share it because I've healed from it. And, well, you know, I've still to this day, now that I'm aware of it, right? Once your eyes are open, they cannot be closed, right? You cannot unsee the scene. Sometimes you wish you could, right? But you cannot unsee the scene. And I recognize this in myself, that this is a pattern that has shown up over and over and over. I don't know if you guys have known this or know this, but I have actually sabotaged 3 different 6-figure companies that I have built. 3. In the course of my life, there has been 3. And I'm very authentic. I recognize my part and my responsibility in it. I recognize, you know, do I know why? I knew that, like, oh my gosh, something is happening where I'm reaching a certain level amount of success, and then I just, pow, like, whether it be my health, right? It'll show up in my health, or it'll show up in my relationships, or it'll show up in my business, right? There's different things that happen. And ultimately, I've been able to take the pieces from years of just this different types of sabotage. And it's something that I've really, really had to be very authentic and very intentional and recognize when I'm doing this to myself. I can be like, Stop sabotaging yourself. You deserve happiness. You deserve a successful life. You deserve abundance. You are like, you can do it, right? I think what happens is we get stuck in our ways of being as we're children, right? And growing up with all of this stuff, and we have to keep ourselves safe and, you know, do all of this stuff that we create all these stories that we just don't know. Eventually what happens is we just don't know how to stay in a state that's like always amazing, right? And a lot of people, if you ask them, it's impossible, right? You cannot possibly stay happy or fulfilled all the time. It's totally unreasonable. Right? And I'm really breaking through the boundaries to see what would it look like if you could and you did, right? Because I know there are people out there that always have experienced like a great experience in their life. And I think it's more, oh, that's awesome, Ryan. Like, I think it's more than just like saying, yay, everything is positive. Yay, this is great. But like really being aware that this is a behavior and a pattern, right? And I'm not sure if any of you guys have ever heard of like your financial thermostat, right? We only have the capacity to be able to make a certain amount of money. And then once that happens, we start getting a little kooky in ourselves and we're like, ah, crap. And then 9 times out of 10, like, you hear all these stories about people who won the lottery and they're doing all of these, like they get all of this large amounts of money super quick. And then all of a sudden they have a crash in their family. They're broke. They're like crazy, bankrupt, in debt. Like all of these crazy things have happened. Even if you look at like celebrities, right? They meet this incredible status of stature and celebrity fame to them. And then what happens, like, totally blow it up. They go crazy on drugs and partying. Their life is a mess. All of a sudden you see them on the cover of magazines, like bags under their eyes, destroyed, right? This is the ability that each of us have to be able to really experience a full life. And what happens is subconsciously, once we get to like a limit of this might be really good, like I think a lot of like, not I think, but a lot of times people will sabotage that because they're just not used to it being good all the time, right? And that's something to be really, really real with yourself. Bonnie says, yep, Afia, yes, your internal standard will always stabilize itself. And that's just the truth and the reality, right? So I've been like, okay, awareness is the first thing. And I know that, dang it, like I am not going to sabotage another business that no, what do I need to do, right? So that's why I'm coming to you, because once I go through it, I'm like, all right, this needs to be shared. You guys, it's your choice. You can experience these breakthroughs if you would like. I'm going to share them to you, and it's up to you what you do with them. I really, truly hope, like, I believe that we all have the capacity to feel good and to be in a good, positive state, like for real. Not like the authentic, not the like, I saw this really funny GIF. It was my affirmations, and it was like this woman who was like lip syncing, I am beautiful, and then this voice up here, it was like the senior picture type thing, and the voice up here saying, no, you're not, you're ugly, right? Is that just like Afia said, stabilizing yourself. So ultimately, there's different areas that we all experience some sort of sabotage with. Maybe this, as I ring through to them, maybe you can relate to some of these. So we have areas in business and money. A lot of times if people have too much money, or they have like a capped amount of what is in their brain, then they'll sabotage that. Or if their business success has gotten to such a level that to really reach their full potential, before that happens, it just seems to like all go away. You have to start over from scratch. If you've had to start multiple businesses before, this is an area that you've probably have some sort of sabotage with. And right, and just because you have all this, let me just like say, so do I, so does the other people watching this, anyone who's on the replay, they have this too, right? So you are perfect and complete and whole just as you are, and it's okay, right? What doesn't work, and this is your choice, is having this information and then not doing anything to really become aware and grow yourself, right? That part is on you. So nothing is wrong. Like there's no fixing. Like when I say breakthrough, like there's no fixing you. You're perfect just how you are, right? This is about being able to really create new, right? Let's create new things that we live in a life that is really fulfilling to us on a long-term basis in multiple areas of our life. So business and money is definitely a main area that a lot of people, myself included, have sabotage or do sabotage or have this thermostat of being able to only handle so much in their business and money, right? Another area is love and relationships, right? How many of you have ever experienced you have absolutely an amazing relationship, everything is totally good, it's everything you've ever wanted, super duper in love, and then all of a sudden you start fighting, and by the way, like, never mind, we'll just say, so every like 2 to 3 weeks you're arguing, and then every day, and then like things all of a sudden you just start picking, and all of a sudden the relationship's gone, done. And lo and behold, you've never been able to have a good, steady, solid relationship ever in your life, and that it never works out, you give up, you're gonna be single the rest of your life. Right? Well, I'm sorry I've sabotaged relationships, right? Not on purpose, but because there was like inner stuff that I was going through, and we're going to talk about the things that we go through and why we do this here in a little bit, right? There's like a common thread, and it's these are just the areas. So hang tight, we'll get to that part. So love and relationships. This could be with family members. This could be in your marriage, in your relationship with your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your friends, right? There's been people who have really close friends or a close circle of friends, and then something happens, and then all of a sudden the friendships blow up, right? This happens in friendships. It's really love and relationships that go together. This is an area of sabotage that people experience and go through. And just because you have one doesn't mean you're going to have all. Just because you have all doesn't mean that you're absolutely crazy, right? We just have a fun adventure. And you're human. This is part of the human experience. You came here to have an experience. Here you are, my friend. So the next area that we have sabotage in is in our health and our well-being. And this is definitely an area that I've experienced as well. And I've gotten very aware that literally, and guys, I've been seizure-free for four months now. Woo, right? A little like clapping, yay! So seizure-free for 4 months, and through that, I have recognized and realized that I have been living with chronic pain for the last 10 years of my life. How many of you guys would care to guess what I knew what it would even like to not be in pain? It really, I'm like, I don't know what it's like. Like, I don't know. It's always, I don't know, right? So I had to like really ask, like, what would it feel like to not be in pain? What would it feel like to be healthy? I want to be a healthy, vibrant, full of energy, like my body working great, flexible, work out every day. However, a lot of us are like, oh, I don't feel good. Or, yeah, I'm good, but I'm tired. We speak these words over our health, or we start this great diet or this plan. I'm going keto, right? If we go keto, or I'm going raw, or whatever it is that we go on this plan, and this plan is gonna this is gonna be it. Right, and then we start this plan. And then 2-3 weeks in, I'm going to, I have one cheat night. It'll be all right. I'm just gonna have one night. It's cool. It's not gonna do anything, right? And then you go out and you have that cheat night, and then the next day you don't really feel so good. So I'm just not gonna work out today. Maybe I'll just take a couple days break of that, and then I'll get back to it. Right? And then all of a sudden that couple days turns into a week, turns into 2 weeks, turns into a cheat day after cheat day. What? Oh yeah, I tried that once. It didn't work for me. Right? What that was a sabotage into your health. And that's something like I've had to get super real about. And that's a lot of things people deal chronically. If I'm going to offend someone here, that's okay. It is what it is, because this is something that I've lived with for 10 years. Chronically challenged things, we almost get to the point where, not almost, we program our mind where we forget what it's even like to be healthy. So how could we possibly move into an area of health and stay in that area of health otherwise, right? So there's different areas that we all have to be able to experience, and we're all human. It all happens, and it's all good. So are you guys curious, why do we do this? Anyone be curious to know and have some tools to be able to help you? Let's go through these comments. There's a little bit of a delay. I'm almost done getting my course out. I've had the last month off. I'm screwing around, going to the beach instead of knocking it out. Exactly, right? And what's the payoff for you in that, Ryan? Because we all have one, right? That's part of the reason we sabotage. There's ultimately a payoff for the reason that we're doing. And that comes looking in the mirror and getting super real with yourself. Oh, my mom is on. Lizzie, my second mom on. Good morning. You're so sovereign in your knowledge. Huh? Well, Lizzie, honestly, it's gotten to a place where, thank you. She says, just for my podcast, she says, you are so sovereign in your knowledge since your recent trauma. You have gotten so strong, so unstoppable, so more Holly. I love you and love what you do. Thank you, Lizzie, so much. Honestly, those seizures, like I said, everything is always working for us. And because of that, through my healing, I've gotten memories back that I never knew I had, right? I had things tucked away from when I was 3 years old that had triggered post-traumatic like PTSD in me that had gone undiagnosed for 35 years because I was just suppressed things so much, right? And the sabotage and all of this stuff, it came to a crack of the egg, if you will, that it was like, enough is enough. This, like, it just all needed to happen to be able to really bring forth. So I really, really love that. Thank you. I appreciate it. The emotion, Bonnie says, same here, read the emotion code. Very true. Awesome. Yes. Okay. So ultimately, guys, behind self-sabotage, to be able to break free from it is to really understand it, right? Is to have that awareness and understand it. So let's really break down some self-sabotage behavior, like why we do the things that we do. And then once we have this why, you guys can have that discovery and awareness. So as you're living your life in the day by day, you can be like, oh, yep, this is happening. Nah, stop that. Right? So that's what we're going to do here. So ultimately, guys, behind every sort and form of self-sabotage out there, there is fear that is sitting in that sabotage. We sabotage ourselves because there is some sort of fear there, right? And I'm going to talk to you guys about 4 different areas of these are the basics. I'm sure there's more. These are like the kind of cover pretty much everything, I think, from my experiences and from what I've gone through. I've literally, guys, have gone through different seminars and different, I go through a program called Landmark. I've gone through the forum and gone through different weekends and stuff for this particular thing because I've known, again, I've blown up 3 6-figure, very successful businesses. I'm like, I know this. I don't know if it's good or bad, but whatever, that's what it is. And I'm authentic with it. And I know that this is an area that I've had to be very intentional in. So if I can help even one of you guys go through this so you don't have to do the same, and that together we can live a totally abundant and prosperous life, like high five, let's do it because you deserve it. And that is possible. I'm breaking, like I see that it's possible. I believe it and we're doing it. So number 1, the first area that people really sabotage themselves. Let me see if there's some new comments while they were waiting. Feels like your remembering set you free. Yeah, it really did. My remembering set me free. And going through all of my memories and my experiences has been my healing that I needed. Totally. All those trapped emotions, right? They can manifest into physical things. I promise you, they do. I know. I've studied and I've experienced and I've lived it. So ultimately, guys, the first thing that people experience, the fear that they experience and they have when they're dealing with self-sabotage is they feel that in some way they're flawed and they can't expand because you're flawed and you're not, but you just feel this way, right? There's something that happened to you as a child, some experience that you had that told you that there was something wrong with you, and that when there was something wrong with you, how could you ever possibly break free and have this magical, successful, happy life if you always have a belief that there's something wrong with you? It's something like I actually had a friend, I did a video on this, my friend made it into something really cool about that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Like that was a story that you told yourself as a little child because something happened and you thought that it was because of you, and that there was something innately wrong with you. And that was never the case, right? It wasn't the case. That doesn't happen. So what happens with these people is even if they reach a certain amount of success in their life, something it stops them because they always feel like they are, like there's just something wrong with them and that anything that they do is going to be wrong too. So that's one area. It can show up in relationships. It can show up in love. This can show up even if you're very successful in your business. That does not mean you're very successful in your relationships and your love life and your health. Like, those are totally different things. And I've known a lot of successful people that have a lot of areas and can break free in different areas in their business and in their finances. However, they are horrible, like fat. They are not in shape. They have no energy whatsoever. Their relationships are struggling. And like, so this is the whole picture, guys, the whole everything, every area that we just talked about. This is one of the reasons why. Right? Another reason why people go through and do all of this and start sabotaging the success that they have in the areas of their life is because if being successful, this is something that's so true for me. By being successful, it's an abandonment issue, that you can't be successful because it would mean that you were alone or that you would lose people. So an area that I've struggled with personally is, as I got success, another area is that we'll talk about here in a little bit, it kind of connects to each other, is a lot of people around me, my family, my friends at the time. I've lost a lot of friends through building a business and following my purpose and my passion. It makes a lot of people uncomfortable because they don't understand it, or it brings up insecurities in themselves. And ultimately, I've had to walk, like, I've lost relationships, and I've lost close relationships. I've lost family because of a lot of this. And so for me, I was telling a story that for me to be successful, I was going to lose my family and I was going to be alone, right? So how could you possibly have any kind of success if you're afraid that you're going to be alone on the other side of it? Like, you're not going to even want to jump. Like, your conscious is going to be there, right? But that unconscious, like, if I'm successful, then I could lose everything, right? That's a legit thing that people go through, and it can sabotage their relationships. It can sabotage business, your health, everything. It can, and it does. It's something that I've personally, like, again, that authenticity here, something that I've personally have gone through myself. And I've had to really recognize the truth that there's always going to be the right people that show up in your life at exactly the right times. And there's people in for a season, there's people for reasons, and to celebrate every single person that's in your life because they're in your life, right? They made it on your path. It's amazing. And whether they come or go or stay, it's really finding the peace that you are here, and you can go out there and live. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to those people, right? The people that don't understand you, right? I tell you what, years ago, my family didn't understand what I was doing when I started making a bunch of videos like every day. I had 100 people on my Facebook. Nobody knew who I was. All my family saw is, why are you making these videos? This is silly, right? And a lot of people unfriended me, and I lost like cousins and family from it. And it started like, wow, right? And then I started losing friends because they didn't get why I was going to all these seminars. And then I would come back and they're like, you think you know, like, you better than me. I'm like, no, I don't think I'm better than you. I learned a lot at the seminar I want to share with you, right? And it just didn't match, and that was okay. It was okay. However, what it did was it put a fear that to truly live my highest, fullest potential could mean that I would be alone, right? And that's something, a very, very, very real thing that people go through. So yes, find new friends and family, Bonnie says, totally. And you know, you just nailed it. Find new friends and family. I mean, there's people in your life that you can never, ever replace, right? And you always just honor and love everybody for the time and experience. And yes, always bring in new people. There's so many people in this world, right? So that's a big one. And this is really like, look in yourself, right? Another big one, another thing is that you are a burden. Oh, so if any belief in you, inside of you, thinks even a little bit, and you can tell if maybe you've thought that you don't want to ask for things because you're afraid that you might be a burden if someone does something for you. If you just said, oh crap, yeah, that's me, this probably applies to you, right? So it's something that a lot of us experience. I've experienced it too. Like, we're afraid to really go, and because, well, I just don't want to be a burden, or, it's okay, I can do this. I don't want to be a burden. Ultimately, something happens. Like something happened when you were young. Maybe you came into a life of poverty, right? Maybe you had a single mom who was doing this all on her own, and she had to work so much, and you didn't get that she loved you and she was doing everything for you. But what you saw was that she was always working, and she was always tired, and she was always off doing like what she needed to do, and she was never around, right? So then you start feeling like you're a burden. And when you start feeling like you're a burden in your life, you'll never be able to break free. So if you were successful, right, the fear is there. If you're successful, then it could be a burden. It sounds crazy, but not really, huh? So that is a big fear that people go through. And again, what can you do? You can be aware of it. Once you're aware of it and you see it, as the experiences happen, as these things happen, you'll know immediately, like, oh crap, yep, Holly said, beep, 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 beep. Shoot me a PM, let me know if this happens for you, and just really become aware of that. Another thing that I really, 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 really struggle is, still to this day, I have to be very intentional and recognize that it is safe for me to be powerful, right? A lot of people who are overachievers, high performers, I think, go through this, is outshining the people that you love. If you were to be successful, there's a fear there that you are going to outshine people that you love, right? And this has been very true for me, in my life, with like my friends, with my partner, with like, I've never wanted to, not just my husband is absolutely amazing, right? I am so blessed by this man and how just who he is, and that I get to be his partner. I'll say that. But there's been previous partners that I've had in my life that it wasn't safe for me to truly shine and be this powerful voice that I am, because I didn't want to outshine them, right? And that wasn't them, that was me. Because something happened to me when I was a kid that people got jealous because of the positions and the opportunities that I had as a child. And they got jealous and they got mad, and I felt super bad about it. And then from that point on, I told myself that it was not safe to outshine other people and to let other people have their glory. And you can hear it in me sometimes. If you've ever seen a live, totally like if you've ever seen a live with my husband and I, he shares a story, I let him have the spotlight all the time, and I do it, right? This is me, I do it. It's not like him barging through, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I want you to shine. I love you. I want you to shine. And I do that to everybody. Like, you shine. Like, everybody shine, right? And that's amazing and that's awesome. And you have to also recognize in yourself that it's safe for you to be powerful. And it's good for you to be powerful, because you can really affect and impact other people through that power if you just release and let it go, right? And for the longest, I call it my inner Karen. I don't know where it came up from. Just, this is my inner Karen, and I've literally have lost friends because of this too, because it brings up insecurities in other people that they feel inadequate in themselves. And I don't mean to do it. And when I've tried to shut it off, so people don't get like, oh yeah, good for you, right? Because I don't know. It's lessened my voice, and it's something I've had to be intentional about. So what do I mean here? I mean, like, so my inner Karen, she loves waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning. She works out every single morning. She loves to meditate. She loves to eat healthy, clean food. She's totally AIP. Like, she makes her own laundry soap. She eats totally clean. She's like got all of her shiz together. She's a high performer. She's successful. Like, this is my inner, it's really me, right? But I just call it my inner Karen. I think that Mila video, she's like, oh, Karen. Right, and Karen, like, go Karen. She always does everything right and everything perfect. And a lot of people get mad at the people that are like, yeah, go you. Must be nice. You can go, right? People just want to. Because when you have it, you can't always have it together, and I don't by any means. However, I do wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I do work out every single day. I do meditate every single day. I love personal development. I read. I have books everywhere. I have this book. I got this book here. I read like 20, 30 minutes a day. I put personal development into my life. I'm willing to grow and evolve. Like, I'm not perfect, and I'm always willing to grow in an area and improve, right? 1,000,000%. And that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. So if you have a fear that you're going to lose people and you're going to outshine the people around you, how will you ever be able to truly break through any kind of barrier, right? What's going to happen is you're going to shine to a certain level, then something's going to happen. And this is what happens. This is what shows up. You start going up, you're like on that upline in your life, right? And then all of a sudden, whether it be in your health, whether it be in your relationships, whether it be in your business or your finances, something just happens. Everything was great. I don't know what happened. Honestly, it was probably your self-sabotage. And it doesn't mean, like, self-sabotage does not mean, like, I'm going to go in here and, like, intentionally break everything, right? We don't intentionally get sick. I didn't intentionally go get RSD. I didn't intentionally go get seizures. There's nothing intentional about this. However, it is up to us to take responsibility and not be a victim of it, and take responsibility and be a victor of it, and really recognize that self-sabotage affects each and every single one of us. And when you can take an honest look at, okay, what is this telling me? Like, what is that fear? What happened when I was younger? And you can get that understanding. You will, I want to challenge you, because I'm in this with you. I am in the trenches here with you on a daily. It's so funny. I had this whole entire live planned for a week now. This topic has been in my heart. Would you believe that today I woke up, I was so tired. My hair was not working right. I was late getting to work, so I had to go to the doctor. Like, I didn't feel, like, I honestly almost didn't do this live. I was going to go to the grocery store with my husband. I'm like, forget it, right? And then I felt the call of, you don't do this. This is your self-sabotage. Game on, girl. You ready? Go do your live, right? And that's what you got to do. And I said, baby, I love you. Please go get me all the stuff on this list. I need my coconut milk and creamer, and thank you, baby. And he's off there doing all of that. And I'm taking this head on, right? Because I know that I'm worth it, and I know that you're worth it. And I know that we can do it when we're intentional and we're living life in purpose and we're doing it on purpose, right? So that's what I got. I hope you guys got some amazing, amazing things. Jason, what's going on? Lizzie, what's going on? Thank you guys. Your inner Karen realizes it's people's reactions, not her. Nothing she can do about that. That's right. My inner Karen is saying, girl, let's go, right? We got places to go. We got people to impact. We got cool stuff going on in your life. Let's celebrate it. And if people can handle it, then let's celebrate them and keep celebrating, right? So I'm intentional about living a life of celebration, and to really allow myself to feel the best abundance and goodness that life has for me. So are you guys willing to take that challenge with me? I would love to know. Let me know in your comments. That's it for today's show. I hope you guys got a ton of value. I super appreciate you guys. I would love for you to subscribe to my podcast. If you are not subscribed, you can go to purposepassionlife.com. I also have a free book for you guys there. You can go pick up your book, subscribe to my podcast. We got 3 episodes that come out a week. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time. I really hope you got some good tips and insights from today's episode. I've learned that to live in purpose, on purpose, it means working with people who really light you up. Who are those people for you, and where are they? I want you to head over now to purposepassionlife.com and grab up your free book, The Client Attraction Code, to learn how you can start attracting your perfect client. When you love what you do in the service of people who love what you do, you will fill your days with more passion and more purpose. So head over to purposepassionlife.com, go grab up your book right now, and we will see you on the next episode.